and travel fans, this week's tip is going to be related again to cruising. And particularly I want to address the idea or the question of which cabin should I book when I book a cruise. This is really probably for more of those who are first-time cruisers who maybe have questions about the type of cabins that are on a cruise ship. They vary, and they vary a lot. They go from what they call an inside stateroom up to an ocean view or what they call outside stateroom, up to a balcony stateroom, through junior suite and all the way up to a grand suite on a lot of these ships. And the prices will vary accordingly, as you can imagine. So the question really is, which one is best for you? There's some things you should know. When you look at all the different cruise cabin categories, and there's a bunch, when you look at a particular cruise, there could be as many as 10 to 15 categories to choose from. And inside cabins will have 3 or 4 or 5 categories just for those. Outside the same, balcony, etc. And really what varies on that, along with price, is the location on the ship. Technically, the higher you are on the decks and also toward the middle, potentially the more you're going to pay, because those are the most desirable, in general, the most desirable places or cabins to select on a cruise ship. And I say that because if you're in the front of the ship, if you happen to choose a category that only gives you cabins to select that are in the front, the thing you should be concerned about if you are prone to getting motion sickness is feeling the motion of the ship. It's kind of like a pendulum. If I were to set a pencil, the middle of the ship moves less than the front or the back. So kind of picture it that way, that you will feel motion more so in the front and the back than in the middle of the ship. But also in the front of the ship, when you pull into port, that ship usually drops anchor. And if you're in the front of the ship, you are going to hear that anchor drop in the mornings. And a lot of times when you pull into port, it can be as early as 5:30 or 6 in the morning, depending on where you've cruised into. So be concerned about that if you're making your choice. Also, the back of the ship, or the aft, AFT as they call it, something you really need to be concerned about is the noise of the motors or the engines. You will hear them if you're in the back of the ship. And again, there's some concerns to a lot of people about feeling the motion in the front or the back. So the front and the back is not necessarily the best choice in the world if you're going to be on an inside or an ocean view cabin or a balcony, but a lot of times those are a little less expensive than if you're trying to find a cabin toward the middle. Now let me talk briefly, real quick, about balcony. Some question whether they should upgrade to a balcony or not. The overall square footage of the inside of a cabin is not going to vary a lot between inside to balcony. There's only so much space they're going to allot for those cabins internally. But that extra outside square footage can mean a lot to a lot of people, especially if you're prone to not like a lot of tight spaces. Having that balcony to walk out on to get some fresh air in the middle of the night or in the morning sometimes is priceless to a lot of people, and they'll pay to upgrade to a balcony. Also, you have the luxury when you're pulling into port of actually walking out on your balcony that morning and seeing you pull into port, versus if you're on an inside cabin with no windows, then to see that sort of thing, you'd have to get out of your cabin and work your way up to a top deck to watch that. Again, ocean view cabins. Ocean views have windows but no balcony, so that does give somebody an option that wants to have a view of the outside but doesn't want to pay for a balcony cabin. So again, this is kind of a general answer to the question of what cabin should I book. Hopefully that helps a little bit explain the differences between some of them and help you on making your choice for your next cruise. If you got any questions, I'd love to hear your comments and questions on my blog, and feel free to leave them, and I'll be make sure I get back to you as soon as possible. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.